And Lafayette's going to salt away win number 10.
And number 402 in the Lafayette Leopard history. They'll win this one today in a game that was much closer than the final score will indicate. 60-44. Lafayette playing a very solid game of basketball here this afternoon. Of course, Dan Mounty will have the coach and our Pepsi player of the game. As today, no doubt about who the fire plug was today. The spark was Lakeisha Wright, the freshman with 14 points in the ball game. 5'11" freshman is with Dan. And in just 1 second, we'll send it over to him. He'll have an opportunity to chat with Lakeisha. Dan, I believe, is ready. So I think we're ready to go to him. Here's Dan.
All right, thanks a lot, Gary. Lakeisha Wright, our Pepsi player of the game tonight, contributing in so many ways. Lakeisha, perhaps no more so than on the dribble drive. You were a real force tonight.
Yeah, well, I just knew that Holy Cross game, I got in the middle and just penetrate the whole time and open up the outside shooters to get them going too. So I just knew I had to penetrate, get in the gaps and dish out, get the three-point shooters like Zavok to get going too. And Vandy also.
Lafayette Leopard fans know you've won 3 state championships as a high schooler. You seem to bring a lot of that poise and confidence to the floor here on the college level.
Yeah, I had a lot of experience. We won 3 state championships, like you said. So I just wanted to bring it and help out the team this year also. So.
Well done. Lakeisha Wright, our Pepsi player of the game. Freshman, rookie of the week, by the way, in the Patriot League. It's been a pretty good week so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, we won 2 games, so that's pretty great so far, yeah.
Well done and a great start in the Patriot League.
Thank you.
All right, let's turn to head coach Tammy Smith now as we bring in the winning coach. Tammy, I'll tell you what, these teams rise up to the occasion. I think everybody knows by now that Lafayette is a force to be reckoned with in the Patriot League.
Yeah, it's great to see them come out and play like they did today. I thought we were a little sluggish against Colgate, but they have a goal, and I thought we've got to just take one game at a time and play 5 minutes at a time, and that's exactly what they did today. So it was great intensity, it was great effort by everyone, and we're just going to continue to do what we can to pick up some W's.
Taking a look at the season so far, there have been some injuries along the way, but it seems like this year more than ever, you have a lot of depth there to kind of keep the drive alive, even when other players, some key players, are recovering.
Yeah, and that's going to be big for us in Patriot League. You're going to be able to go 2 or 3 deep in every spot, and that's what we work on every day, to get people in reps and get them time in those positions so that they can come in and just relieve our first 5. And it's not about our first 5, it's about everybody. We're here to do this together, and we're doing everything that we can to make sure that we keep playing hard and picking up the wins like we want to.
Next up is Bucknell and Lewisburg. What do you have to face with your team there?
They're real athletic. They'll pressure us, and hopefully they'll probably play a zone against us, but I think our zone offense is much better than it has been last year. Keisha's really a key inside for us and draws a lot of the defenders on her and opens up our outside game. So, we have off tomorrow. We're going to enjoy this win, and we'll be back to the grind on Monday. All
right, Tammy, before I let you go, though, let's talk a little bit about Vanessa Vandeventer, honoring her today with her 1,000 points scored back in November. Tell me a little bit about the player.
She came in as a freshman, and she has not let down one day of practice as far as her work intensity, just how she comes ready to practice every day. And it's by no mistake that she's getting the honors that she is this year, just because of her attitude, just because of the amount of time she spends on the game and how hard she works. And she's just a fun-hearted kid. She goes out there and has fun, puts no pressure on herself, and good for her. There's not going to be another Vandy in this gym for sure.
She goes out and enjoys herself, that's for sure. Coach, thanks again and congratulations.
All right, Dan, thanks.
All right, let's bring it back to Gary and John.
Certainly the Lady Leopards enjoyed this one today, a 16-point win over Navy. When we come back, we've got the highlights coming your way. We'll give you some final numbers. The post-game show presented by the Maroon Club will continue. Stay with us.
So, Mr. Chan, you want to make a sequel with my client Diet Pepsi?
Lots of action, lots of stunt.
As always, we're going to need a stunt double.
No problem. We got company.
Stunt double. Action.
See ya. That's gonna hurt.
Kirby Sports Center is the place to be this winter. Grab yourself a family 4-pack for any remaining Lafayette men's or women's home basketball game. 4 seats, 4 hot dogs, and 4 sodas for just $20. There's no place like home with the family 4-pack and Lafayette Leopards basketball. The excitement is back at Kirby. We are back. We welcome you back. Lafayette wins today as they pick up their second Patriot League win. They'll go to 2-1 and 10-8 on the season. We've got our highlights, I believe, coming your way. This is the post-game show presented by the Maroon Club. Every gift matters every year. Here's John.
Well, early on, Gary, it was trouble for the Lafayette Leopards on the inside. Considine there, you saw her with that little turnaround shot. Also, Bowen, here's Considine stepping out. Gary, this is 6'3". A big girl in the center spot, really knocking things down from downtown, doing a great job. That was Kaylin Croppa with an impossible angle, but in the end, it was Lafayette's experience, the energy of Vanessa Vandevender, and on the inside, Lakeisha Wright, the freshman, the dynamic freshman, Kristen Zavaki making some big plays down the stretch. What a second half performance, Gary. There's Vanessa Vandevender stepping outside, knocking down a 3. As you said it best, Gary, I think this was one of Lafayette's, it was solid. It wasn't spectacular by any stretch of the imagination, but their players who needed to make plays did so. Here's Kristen Zavaki. This was her second full court layup off of a steal and a full court layup. So again, kudos to Lafayette. They're learning to win at home. A tough road trip coming up at Bucknell. They've already been to one of the toughest places to play up in Worcester, Mass, and very nearly picked off a perennial champion in Holy Cross. It'll be very interesting to see now if they can reload, go to Lewisburg, and put on this kind of performance.
And they can do no worse than be in third place at the end of tomorrow, as, of course, Bucknell playing Holy Cross tomorrow, Army Lehigh playing one another tonight. That game will be at Stabler Arena. All right, the final numbers for Navy. Their 44 points came on 15 field goals. They shot 29%. They had 7 threes in the ball game, and they were 7 for 11 on the free throw line. Double-figure scoring out of Cassie Considine with 14 and Kristen Bowen with 15, all of those points in the first half. So Navy goes to 4-14. They've lost 4 in a row, and they are now 0-3 in the Patriot League. For Lafayette, their 60 points came on 21 field goals. They shot 40%. They were 2 for 10 from three-point land and were 16 for 21 on the foul line. They got double-figure scoring tonight out of 4 different people. 10 by Zavaki, 11 by Garner, 14 by Wright, and 17 by Vanessa Vandeventer. Lafayette now 10-8, now 2-1 in the Patriot League. As John mentioned, they'll travel to Bucknell on Wednesday for a very big matchup at Bucknell. Final score today, Lafayette 60, Navy 44. The Lafayette men on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock taking on undefeated in the Patriot League Bucknell. We hope the Leopards are also undefeated on Wednesday night as they'll take on Navy in Annapolis tonight at 7 o'clock. So for John Leone, Dan Mounty, the RCN television team, headed up by Rick Guijo, we thank you for watching the Lafayette Sports Network, WBPH Channel 60 and RCN TV4. For all of us, I'm Gary Laubach. Goodbye, everybody.